Good morning. Thank you for joining us today to learn about the CSCU Grade Conversion Policy, or the CRT-CR-NCE option. You may have also heard this referred to as the pass-fail or credit-no credit option. Our goal today is to provide an overview of the policy along with questions to consider so that you can make an informed decision on whether this is the right option for you and your educational goals. The first thing we're going to discuss today is to give a brief overview of what the CRT-CR-NC option is. So in spring of 2020, due to COVID, all students were given the option to convert an earned letter grade into either a pass, credit, or fail, no credit grading, so that courses would not affect students' GPA negatively. The BOR is now extending this option for fall and winter 2020 and spring 2021. So while there are some certain benefits to choosing this option, there are multiple things to consider. So we'll discuss your choice of major, whether or not you want to transfer, financial aid, to determine if this is the right option for you. As stated on the previous slide, the pass-fail option gives students the ability to convert an earned letter grade to a credit, no credit designation. So the first question we'll answer is, what will my grades convert to? There are actually 3 pass-fail notations that could be applied to your transcript in place of your earned letter grade. One option would be a CRT notation, which stands for credit for transfer. So this notation would be in place of any earned letter grade that is a C or higher, so anywhere from a C all the way up to an A. The next option would be a CR, which earns credit, but the credit does not transfer. So this would be used in place of an earned letter grade below a C, so a C minus, D plus, D, or D minus. And the final one is an NCE, or no credit earned. This would be used in place of an earned letter grade of an F. The next question we'll answer is, will all courses be converted to a CRT-CR-NCE option? And the answer is no. Only the courses you request to be converted to the CRT-CR-NCE grading will be changed. You'll be able to select each course individually that you want to convert and which grades you want to keep. It is important to note that there is a limit on the total number of credits on your transcript that you can apply this grading option to. You can only apply up to 15 total credits of pass, which would be CR or CRT credits, to your degree. If you use this option in spring 2020 and want to revert some courses back to letter grades so you can use this option this semester, that may be an option for you to do. Please reach out to the registrar's office if you have questions regarding this. The next question we'll answer is, does the student have to request this option? Pass-fail is not an automatic process, so the answer is yes. Students will need to request to have any or all of their letter grades earned converted to the CRT-CR-NCE option by completing a form in MyComNet. Be aware there is a time-limited window of opportunity to make this request. For fall courses, the application will be open from December 23rd to January 8th, or until a credential is awarded, whichever is earlier. So in this case, if you are planning on graduating in January, you would want to choose this option prior to January 1st to ensure that your degree is not conferred prior to you being able to select this option. For courses completed in winter 2020, the application will be open between January 25th and February 8th, or until a credential is awarded, whichever is earlier. For courses that are completed spring 2021, the application will be open from May 25th to June 8th, or until a credential is awarded, whichever is earlier. So once again, if you plan to graduate in May, you would want to select this option as close to May 25th as possible so that there is no overlap between you wanting to choose this option and your degree being conferred, because there's no way to choose this option once the degree has been conferred. And another thing to note with this is that the application for each semester does not open until grades have been posted. So the goal is to give you an opportunity to view your letter grades and determine if the grade conversion is actually a benefit for you or not. One of the most frequently asked questions I hear is, will this option affect my GPA? And the answer is no, because none of these grades are calculated into your GPA. The CRT and CR grades will allow you to earn credit, but they're not added to your GPA. The NCE grade is also not added into your GPA, but you'll not earn credit for the course either. Please note that the NCE grade may still have a negative impact on your satisfactory academic progress for financial aid eligibility. There are two components to SAP for financial aid. Based on the number of overall credits you've attempted and earned, you need to pass between 50% and 67% of the courses you attempt. And you also need to have a cumulative GPA of anywhere from a 1.7 to a 2.0. So for some students, this option may help them keep themselves at the GPA level they need, but may not help them keep their pass rate above 50%. In regards to the impact of this option on your financial aid, there's no set answer for all students. It is dependent upon your individual financial aid status and the cumulative coursework that you've completed. If you're using financial aid, we strongly urge you to speak to financial aid to determine the impact before selecting this option. As stated earlier, there are multiple things to consider prior to selecting the pass-fail option. So now we'll discuss some reasons why you would not want to select this option. One is that you will accumulate a total of more than 15 credits of CR or CRT grades. You may only apply up to 15 credits of the CR or CRT grades to a degree, so you should only apply for this option if you have not reached the limit of 15 credits. If your cumulative GPA is below a 2.0 and you're graduating, this would not be a good option for you, because you may pass the course and opt for the CRT-CR grade, which will earn you the credit that you need towards graduation. However, if your cumulative GPA does not meet the minimum 2.0 requirement, then the degree cannot be awarded. Another reason you may not want to select this option is if you are using veterans benefits. You're urged to check with the veterans representative in the financial aid office to determine the potential effect of switching courses to the CR/CRT NCE option. There are a couple more reasons why you may not want to select this option. One being that your major has licensure or accreditation requirements. In some majors, a CRT or CR will not satisfy licensure or accreditation requirements, and a specific letter grade may be required. It's important for students to consult with an advisor to determine if this is the case in their major. Another reason would be you're applying or plan to apply to a selective admission programs. So if you think you want to apply to nursing or another allied health program, such as physical therapy, respiratory, or radiology, you really should check the requirements for admission before selecting this option. Many of the selective admission programs require C or better, and in some cases actually require C+ or better in prerequisite courses to be eligible for admission. A CR grade will not meet the requirement for a C or better. And while a CRT is a C or higher, if that C+ is needed, it will not be considered for admission purposes. The next question we'll address is the CRT, CR, NCE option a good fit for everyone in all programs? And unfortunately, the answer is no. In some fields, opting for the CRT, CR, NCE grade will not satisfy licensure, accreditation, or selective admission requirements. So if you're a student enrolled in our nursing or allied health programs, so that would be physical therapy, respiratory, or radiology, or if you're looking to apply to one of those programs, you need to be aware that taking courses to gain entry into nursing or allied health programs may not be able to use the CRT, CR, NCE option. As accredited selective admission programs, they'll continue to maintain the admission, grading, and progression requirements of their accreditation. So only a letter grade that meets the curriculum standards will be accepted for admission or progression in these programs. So the CRT, CR, and NCE grades may not be accepted in transfer to colleges and universities outside of the Connecticut state system. We'd also like to raise your awareness for a few more programs that have concerns with the CRT, CR, NCE option. So if you are a social services student planning to transfer to a Bachelor of Social Work program or a BSW at Central, Eastern, Southern, or WestCon, be aware that you must meet minimum grade requirements for many courses to count towards a degree at that transfer institution. So for example, classes such as Psychology 111, Sociology 101, Human Biology 115, and Statistics 167 all have minimum grade requirements, and so they need the letter grade for that, and the CRT-CR option would not be good for you. For a full list of the courses that you would actually need to consider, please see our system office Convert Frequently Asked Questions page, and there's a link to that at the end of this presentation. So if you are a social services student and you opt to change their grade for any of these required courses to the CRT-CR option, the course would not meet the degree requirements at that transfer institution, and you would have to retake the course when you transfer to that college. And then any credits that you did earn for a required course that had the CRT, they only will count as elective credits upon transfer. And then if you are a student in our DARC or ECE programs, they may also have requirements for grading and accreditation, so it's really important that you speak with the program coordinator or your advisor before selecting this option. Another really important question is, will courses with a CRT or CR grade meet prerequisite requirements? In the case of a CRT grade, that actually stands for a course that would be a C or better, so a C anywhere up to an A. And so the CRT will satisfy prerequisite requirements because most courses do need a minimum of a C in order to move to count as a prerequisite. However, there are some cases where a grade above a C actually will gain additional advantages. For example, in math, it may qualify you to actually skip a level and go into a higher condensed version of a class if you have the higher than a C. So in some cases you may actually want to keep that letter grade so that you'll be able to register for that course. And then courses in which you earn a CR grade does not meet major course or prerequisite requirements, and that's because most of those requirements are the letter grade of a C. So if you get the CR, that is a C- down to a D-, so it does not qualify. However, in much the same way with the higher than C grade with the CRT, sometimes even if you got a lower, if you got the C-, it may make sense to hold on to that grade and not turn it to a CRT, because there are times that it will allow you to get into a different class. So I'll give you a real world example of that. If you're in Math 095, in order to get to the next class, which is Math 137, you need a C. But if you got a C- in Math 095 and didn't convert it to the CR but kept the C-, you'd be able to register for Math 136, which is the equivalent to Math 137, the intermediate algebra. But you have to have that C on your transcript to be allowed to register for the 136 class. So in this case, if you keep the C- on your transcript, you are able to register for the higher level class and you don't have to repeat Math 095, and the benefit is 095 is what we call a foundational class, and it doesn't factor into your GPA anyways. One of the items mentioned early on in considering the pass-fail option was transfer. So our next question is, will courses with a CRT grade transfer to another institution? And the BOR would like you to know that students with spring, fall, and winter 2020 classes, along with spring 21 grades of CRT, will be able to transfer courses within the CSU system with or without a completed associate's degree. And both CRT and CR courses, so that would be grades that were below a C, will transfer as part of a completed associate's degree, included a transfer ticket degree also. As a continuation of the previous transfer question, please be aware that if you're planning on transferring outside of the CSCU system, that CRT and CR grades may not transfer to another institution. So if schools require a C- or C or above for transfer, they should accept the CRT grades because that was a C or better. UConn actually will accept courses with a CRT grade from the spring, fall, and winter 2020 and spring 21 terms. UConn will not accept courses with a CR grade because that means it's the C- or below. Institutions outside of the CSU system that accept courses with CRT and or CR grades may not accept them for major or general education credit. In many cases, each major department makes that decision upon whether to apply transfer courses with a CRT or CR grade to major requirements. So once again, it is very important that you speak with an advisor, and if you know exactly where you're going to be transferring to, it may even make sense to try to contact the advisor at that transfer institution and find out what their acceptance policy is with pass-fail grades. Will choosing the CRT, CR, NCE option affect my financial aid or veterans benefits? Unfortunately, this is not a yes or no question. It really is dependent upon the individual and what their overall status is with financial aid at this point. But what we want to make you aware of is that a grade of an NCE may still have an impact on financial aid, even though it helps your GPA, and that grades of CRT and CR may also have an impact if there is a certain GPA that's needed. So the main goal of the pass-fail policy is to allow students the option to convert their grades so that any low grade will not negatively affect their overall GPA. However, if you're using financial aid, there's more to consider than just your overall GPA. As mentioned previously, there are two requirements to meeting SAP, which is Satisfactory Academic Progress, for financial aid. Depending upon the overall number of credits you've taken so far, you need to meet a minimum GPA of either a 1.7 or a 2.0, and you need to pass anywhere from 50 to 67% of the courses that you take. I'll give two examples how the pass-fail may affect your satisfactory academic progress. Say you've attempted 30 credits so far, you currently have a 2.0 GPA, and your pass rate is 80%. If you're enrolled in two classes and earn a C- in both of those classes, there may be an impact because a C- is below the 2.0. So if you were to keep those grades, your overall GPA would dip below the 2.0 when those grades are factored in. So if you choose the pass-fail option, you do keep your GPA above the 2.0 needed, and because the CR designation means you've earned credit for those classes or completed those classes, you stay above that minimum 50% pass rate. Another example would be a student with a 2.7 GPA and a 50% pass rate who's enrolled in 3 classes. If they pass one course with a C and fail 2 classes, in this case, they could keep the C or they could choose the CRT for that. No matter what, the GPA is going to stay above the 2.0. But if they select the pass-fail for the 2 failing classes, then there may be an issue because there is a benefit to the GPA staying above the 2.0, but unfortunately the NCE will not help their overall completion rate because the NCE means they earned no credit and it will bring down their pass rate to below a 50%, the same as the F grade will. These examples are to show how in every case is different with how it may impact your SAP or your GPA or your pass rate. So we suggest you speak to financial aid or an advisor prior to making this selection. We've got information for financial aid here. We've got their email, so certainly you can reach out to them. And then as discussed before, if you are a veteran, there is issues sometimes with the GI Bill funding and whether or not they'll pay for courses with that. And currently they don't provide funding, but they may have made some changes based on COVID. So you really need to contact the Veterans Services for more specific guidance, and they are also located in our financial aid office. When and how do I request the pass-fail option? So the window to select this option for the fall 2020 semester is December 23rd to January 8th, 2021. However, if you're graduating in January, then you'll need to select this option before the degree is conferred on January 1st, 2021. Also remember that you can convert one or all of the letter grades you earn to a CRT, CR, NCE. You have that individual option to review each grade and determine which ones you want to convert. And because there is a limit of 15 credits, and this will be offered again in the spring semester or also even in the winter semester, you need to think very diligently about how many classes you want to convert and whether or not you're reaching that 15 credit maximum. And the way you actually select this option is that you will access it in MyComNet. So there is a screenshot here. This is from last semester. It is not open yet, so I cannot guarantee it looks exactly like this, but do know that it will be in MyComNet that you'll be able to access the application to be able to select this option. Can I change my grades to or from the CRT, CR, NCE after a degree has been awarded? The answer, I hope you all know already, is no. That once the degree or certificate has been awarded, grades cannot be changed for courses within that credential. And if you have questions about changing your grade conversion request after you've submitted the form, please speak to the registrar's office. You can contact them by email at records@nv.edu or by phone at 203-596-2177. So we're getting to the end. This is our last question. Who do I go to for help for the CRT, CR, NCE grading option? So students can contact either your instructor, advisor, or college counselor to discuss any of the possible implications of switching to the pass-fail option. If you plan to transfer to an institution outside of the CSU system, you may want to contact that institution for any kind of guidance before making the decision, because you want them to tell you whether or not they will accept these grade designations. And if you're a student at NVC and you have questions about this and cannot contact your advisor or instructor, feel free to reach out to the Center for Academic Planning and Student Success. That would be the CAPS office. We can be reached at caps@nv.edu. So that's CAPS, CAPSS @nv.edu, or at 203-575-8025. And there's also a resource that the system office has put out, so you can go to the CSCU site and you can access under ct.edu Academics Convert for more information and directions on how to actually select the option in MyComNet. Thank you for taking the time to share with us today, to listen to the presentation. If this is a live session, we will have questions afterwards. If not, feel free to reach out to the CAPS office or financial aid or any of the offices we already provided.